Who guessed it? Who guessed Nate?
What's up, people?
Who guessed Nate? A couple people guessed Nate, but they didn't know his name, so you are disqualified. Ooh, what ad did we get? Oh, I don't care about shampoo. Did you guys get an ad? Let us know in the comments what ad you got. Yes, Brittany said Nate because Mr. Moore is upstairs, very, very sick. He has a, well, he doesn't have a temperature right now, but he's had a temperature for the last 24-ish hours. And we figured that you guys didn't want to see him with his dark, sick eyes and his snot and death, all of that. I'm so bad at names. That's okay, Misty. So for those who are joining us for the very first time, we hang out for the first 10 minutes of every live stream and give you guys news and updates. You are not using your alpha mug, sir. You don't get how this works. You with your...
Well, I'm the guest, so I don't know that I don't know if I graduated to the cup yet.
I put coffee in it, though.
I have coffee in it.
Well, then I'm going to end up drinking your coffee.
That's great.
How does this work, guys? How does this work? All right.
School me.
School you. Well, first you pick up the mug and then you take a drink. All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about some emerging trends. And you're going to notice that a lot of these trends are consistent with our last Q&A because that Q&A was emerging trends for 2019 in general, where we talked about spring and summer. So some of this is going to be repeats, but we do have a few additional emerging trends. And goody for you, this guy follows all kinds of fancy shmoo brands and follows all that craziness that most of us don't. So listen to him when it comes to all that stuff. I am not on trend, guys, at all. Like, I just kind of wear what my Etsy sellers send to me. So a few quick announcements. Handmade Alpha Academy will be opening for summer in June. We don't have an exact date for you yet, but as we get closer to that time, I will be sure to announce a date. Secondly, is that a word? Secondly,
yes.
Secondly, oh God,
the
guys.
second
thing. Be sure to go to alphasugar.com if you haven't already, because Renee Christine has released to the Alphas a ton of goodies and business tools that she's released in the past, like over the last 5 years, but she's kind of compiled them all together. So if there's anything that you've missed, or if you're new to following her and you've missed some of these freebies, sign up at alphasugar.com. The first freebie that you'll get is her handmade product line training, which I know a lot of you already have, but if you sign up to get that, you'll also get all of the other goodies kind of drip fed. I think that the program is around 60-ish days. So you'll get lots of goodies direct from her for you. And then there's not going to be a stream on April 5th. Maybe make note of it, because every time we don't have a stream, we get a bunch of emails of people asking if we're still alive and if we're okay. People freak out. They're lost. You guys don't know what to do without us.
But for a good reason, though.
It is. We can't talk about why, but there's something super duper cool going on the 5th that you guys will hear about after the 5th. Next up, our PO box has been barren for the last few weeks, actually since Christmas time. So if you guys want to see another unboxing video, we're going to need more packages. You guys can find our PO box link down below if you click show more. There are some rules and guidelines, so just make sure that you follow those to a T. Don't send us anything that could get us or you in trouble or leak all over our PO box, please. I think that we've got 2 packages right now. So, and I know how excited you are to edit that video for us. Super duper excited. Those are the only funny videos that we do, though. So you could, like, I'm excited to see how you like meme out these videos.
Lots of memeage.
Memeage. Sounds like this is like an old person thing to say. Memeage. And lastly, guys, yes, show. I don't know why. Sorry, Marciska. I don't know why they blocked your candies. And then lastly, guys, make sure to follow me on Instagram. My username is Starla K Moore. I'm trying to hit that 10,000 follower mark so I can actually start using links in my stories. I'm real far off. I've got like 2,000 something followers on Instagram. But
with your help.
Yes, with your help, we can make it happen.
And we will.
We will. Go follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. Well, I will try to follow you back. I had the weirdest account follow me. It's so weird. It is all a picture of one guy. And it's the same picture.
Is it a troll account?
Just repeated over and over. I'll have to show you later. It's
There's
just
a couple of those.
It's just one guy's face, just the whole
Who's the
feed.
guy?
I don't, but it's not the guy who created the account. You know what? I've got to grab my phone. I have to show you this. How much time do we have?
We have 5 minutes.
Cool. 5 minutes. It's going to be 5 minutes well spent because let's see. I have to show them. They're not going to believe me unless I pull it up. Watch the account be gone. It's all pictures.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Of this guy. And
Why?
But all the captions are
different.
They're all the guy who created the account is bashing this guy very badly. He's saying, "You not very nice person." I don't know. Don't make someone hate you to the point where they post literally a different, or the same photo of you every day.
Congress is actually working on a bill right now in the House to legislate when people are allowed to like troll other people on the internet.
What?
Yeah, they're trying to restrict. Like, there's a ton of fake Twitter accounts out there that have like hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're basically just like accounts making fun of representatives or senators. And yeah, there's actually a bill being like ran through the House right now where they're trying to essentially restrict the idea
satire.
The idea of satire, but like really like free speech. They're trying to put a bind on that when it comes to people making these troll accounts. I don't know. It's interesting.
No, it's that I don't know about. I mean, because where does it end? If that starts, where do they draw the line? What happens to? I mean, whether you're for or against it. For example, talking about Saturday Night Live, that's always kind of poked fun at politics, and I know there's a big uproar around it right now. Yeah. But where does it end? It's something you have to be the person who knows the difference between satire and truth.
Absolutely.
So, I mean. Well, and Facebook's done a pretty good job of kind of making sure that they tag the items that are satire, because I know that was causing quite a bit of trouble there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Linda Sue is eating biscuits and gravy for lunch while watching me.
For lunch?
For lunch? That's breakfast food, girl. Breakfast food. Let's see. Good luck with that, Congress. SNL is under attack.
They always are, Linda. When in history has SNL not been thrown under the rug in some sort of way?
And has it slowed them down? Come on. It has not slowed them down. How long has SNL been around?
Well, before my time.
Yeah, somebody type it in. He's 26, I'm 27. Somebody let us know. When did SNL first come out?
Leftovers from last night's supper. I like that.
Satire is the foundation of a civilized nation, and biscuits and gravy are anytime food. Those are
food.
2 amazing points, Misty. 2 fantastic points. Good morning. Hope Mark feels better soon. Chicken soup and hot lemon and honey tea. Honestly, it
75.
Works.
Okay, cool. The
Wow.
70s. Yeah, I thought it was the 70s.
70s. Cool.
They need to have better music on SNL. Like, they need to have more bands on there again.
Of course we say that. More bands.
Well, no, it's just it's a fact.
Yeah. No, I agree. Good morning. Having biscuits and honey. Everybody's eating biscuits.
Yeah, what's up with all the biscuits?
All the biscuits. Let's see. It was around in the 70s when I was a kid. I wouldn't know. Let's see. Oh, so not that longer than me. The show premiered on NBC on October 11th, 1975. Been watching since I was in high school. LOL. Yeah, we're young.
Yeah, see, Lauren understands. They used to have fantastic bands. Like, literally all the big cultural phenomena that were happening.
Yeah, I remember.
Taking place on SNL, but now it's like
if they were on MTV back when MTV actually had music, then they were also on SNL, right?
Exactly.
Crazy. Let's see. I had Lucky Charms. I wish I had biscuits.
Lucky Charms.
You biscuit lovers. I was 3 years old.
Well, I am drinking Starbucks from yesterday because all the girls that are at my local Starbucks, they
love him.
They absolutely not only do they love me, but they support me. So if I go to buy a drink, they'll usually just make a second one without ice, and they're like, "Here's this for tomorrow for you." But I'm in there every day.
I wish I had a Starbucks girl. Actually, I do. The girl that always compliments my hair.
Yeah, I was about to say. There's this really sweet girl that always anytime Starla goes through the drive-thru at the local Starbucks, she'll compliment her hair. She loves talking about her dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's something that your audience understands, is the fact that you just radiate this aura, and people are just like drawn to it, right?
That's where the whole business comes from. You got to have your own thing, you know. That's a lesson to all of you. So
hey, you need to answer the question about your hair. Somebody asked how you're able to keep your hair so red. I am curious. Like, how do you keep your hair so red?
All right, so lightning fast.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. I keep my hair red I only wash it once a week. I know that sounds disgusting, but if you want colored hair, get used to only washing it once a week. Cold water. In between washes, you have to use dry shampoo. If you want to maintain a crazy color, when you condition, mix some of your hair dye, like your leftover, into your conditioner and use that. And then while you're like washing, let that sit in your hair and then rinse it out. That's how you maintain color for an extended amount of time without completely destroying your hair, which I've done in the past, but I have been taking way better care of it as of recently. It used to be sizzled. If you guys remember back when my hair used to be blue. Did you know that my hair was blue when I first started on YouTube? You do that? Yeah, I used to have blue hair, guys.
Like it was kind of reminded me of like a blue raspberry popsicle.
Yeah, it was blue and there was a little bit of purple in there.
It was super cool.
All right, guys, we're going to be talking about trends. And like I said before, that's intense. Trends. And like I said before, a lot of these trends are going to be repeated from our last Q&A, just because not a whole lot's changed, but we're going to go over everything. And then I'm going to screen share a couple sites with you so you can check out these trends on your own when you have time. So everybody get your pens if you haven't already, because you're going to want to write these down. There are a lot. I'm going to be reading all of this off to you. Get ready. Here we go. How are we going to do this? You want to read some? I'll take a column and then you take a column.
Sure.
Cool.
It's like we're in school.
Yeah. Take turns. Purple. Linda Sue said purple. You know what? Wait, for my hair or?
I think she just likes purple.
Oh, you just wait. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. In just a minute. All right, guys. First, we're going to start with bold colors. And this is coming primarily from this 90s trend that is popping back in. And this applies in home decor. It's applying in clothing. It's applying in accessories. It is applied in like painting the walls of your house, which I don't recommend following a trend to do that, because unless you want to update your walls every few years, please don't follow trends when it comes to walls and decor. That just seems like a hassle. Have you seen people who do that, who actually keep up with trends for their house?
No, my mom. Perfect example of somebody that literally like every 2 to 3 months, the house is completely rearranged. All of the furniture is different, literally like down to actually like the tables, the coffee table gets swapped out.
She's got a lot of money though, doesn't she?
Yeah, but it's more about like, she is just so obsessed with like, what Country Home and what's that other magazine?
Pottery Barn?
Yeah, no.
Crate and Barrel?
Magazine.
Crate and Barrel. And those are great magazines and catalogs to subscribe to if you guys are in home decor, because especially right now, this farmhouse decor is huge right now. And like Pottery Barn, I think, is the best example of that. They really follow like the farmhouse trends. So yeah. But let's talk about bolds. Emerald, that was trending. You know, that's been trending. That really deep, nice emerald color. I don't know what the actual Pantone shade for that is, but just think emeralds. Yellow, bright yellow, flashy sunflower, just my shirt yellows are huge. Yeah.
Think like if you guys recall back to like the early 90s, where all of those like real like large blocked color palette, like real bright in your face, like almost fluorescent.
Yeah, like the windbreaker jackets, like all those 90s
windbreaker vibes.
Go back and watch Full House and all of the outfits that they're wearing in Full House. Those are the colors that you need to be appealing to right now. Coral, obviously, that is Pantone's color of the year. What's it called? Living Coral. So coral is everywhere. I'm seeing it in like fingernails. I'm seeing it in home decor. I'm seeing it in clothing. Prom dresses are all, you know, coming out in corals. Teal is big right now, and neons in general. So like fluorescent green, fluorescent yellow, hot pink, yada yada.
Misty says, I've been trying to forget about the 90s since I was there. Good Lord.
I don't remember much of it. I was toddling around at that point in my life. Nate, would you like to take neutrals?
I would. And Amy says, she says, hi, Starla, but she's really stoked because she finally caught you live.
Yes.
Hi, Amy.
We always have at least one or two who are seeing us live for the first time. So it's good to kind of shout them out. Thank you.
Be in the moment.
Be in the moment.
Some neutrals. Neutrals are huge. This kind of ties into the idea of minimalism. That's something that's been on trend for like a couple of years.
And that's
now.
your thing. Like,
yeah, very much so. Yeah. And I actually know quite a bit about it. But there's a movement started by this guy who made a documentary that's on Netflix, and it talks about the lifestyle
What's it called?
Minimalism. Don't remember the name.
They're going to want to know.
I know. I'll look it up. I'll look it up for you guys. It's a great documentary. I'll put a link down that you guys can check it out. But basically it's tying in the idea of like just having basically like having enough to where you can get by, but then also only having things that you actually need. So like no extras.
Yeah, like minimal living.
Yeah, minimal living.
Yeah.
And then so when you think about colors, like they tie that in as well. One of the cool things that like finally came out that I don't know, like 10 years ago you weren't seeing any of this, was rose gold.
Oh yeah, and that's back.
iPhones, purses, like watches.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with all the rose gold wristwatches that I'm seeing ladies?
And I'm seeing these hardware like lamps with a lot of hardware that are rose gold, like office. The wire baskets are all coming out.
Yep.
So, and that's on. I think that's in. I think that's in neutrals, isn't it?
Well, there's gold, there's white, beige, copper, but it's not. But it's not the gaudy like shades of these colors, right?
It's it's a touch of it, like white with a little touch of color.
Yeah, it's almost like barely shifted to that hue, and there's something classy about it, you know. So that might like if you're trying to look at a way that you can like maybe expand your offerings, you know, maybe you could think about the actual shading of it, right? Because I don't know, there's something about the way like the iPhone, you know, they're like the ones that started that whole rose gold trend, right? A couple of years, like 2014 or 2015. But there's just something very classy and elegant about something that's not like super in your face, like gold that's gold, but it's not gold. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
And what I'm noticing in home decor is you get these really nice, like white, very clean aesthetic spaces, but then there's always just a touch of these colors. For example, like one item on the desk is in that color. So if you create, I know that, oh man, who is our HAA student who makes the lamps? What is her name? I can't remember her name offhand.
You were talking about her.
She makes fantastic, like kind of, I don't even want to say steampunk, but Edison bulb lamps.
Those are so cool.
And what's her brand name? Lichtenstein? I can't remember what the brand name is offhand, but she creates just a perfect comments. Yeah, somebody type it in the comments. One of our HAA students put it in the comments, because it is a really good example of how you can kind of add these touches of color into your product lines. All right, so pastels, we're coming into spring. Pastels are huge, but they're going to maintain popularity through summer. So don't just think like Easter dresses and things, because, you know, Easter, it's kind of past time to be able to market for that. You could use these colors in backdrops for product photography. Maybe you create, you know, gold jewelry and you want to lay the necklace over a pastel pink background for marketing purposes. That's fine. But when it comes to actually creating products, we're past Easter. Don't do bunnies. Don't do Easter eggs anymore. You need to start thinking about things like Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Mother's Day is going to be huge this year. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
So get on that bandwagon like now.
And those pastels that we're seeing the most of right now are lavender, super duper big, very light rose pink, like a dusty pink, and a dusty blue. Those are the three main colors.
I love dusty blue. Like any like blue obviously is my favorite color.
Right.
It's the color of my eyes, so it has to be. But just again, talking about like there's something about the subtleness to all of these color palettes that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Lichtenstein.
Yes,
there it is.
Let me pull up her shop real quick, because I can.
What a cool name for a store.
I can attach the link. Check out her shop. Guys, go check out. She's going to go check out Bonadette's shop. I just put it in the comments, and look at how well she's able to incorporate these themes. This is one of our HAA students.
This gives me like restoration hardware vibes, but not something that's Chinese made.
Right, but and look at how she stages everything. Guys, go look, because this is a perfect example of how these, you know, how these colors can subtly be incorporated.
Misty, that is such a good point. H&M is like the brand right now that is constantly on trend, and honestly, they're having more of an impact in fashion right now than some of like the highest end brands, which is insane to me.
I can never find anything in there. Everything is like,
it's horrible.
I can't find anything in there.
If you care about other people and you care about like living conditions, you care about like just people having, I don't know, human rights, don't buy from H&M. Their products are literally made in some of the worst factories on planet
Isn't
Earth.
that how Apple is too, though?
No, the standards are like way different.
Oh,
like
okay.
there's so many reports about H&M and they're like how bad they treat people. Like there was a story where one of the factory workers actually wrote a hidden message on one of the tags inside of one of the garments that they were like
SOS, please help.
Just insane stuff. So yeah, stay away from them. But don't buy from them, but always look at them because they're going to be the ones that are going to be the most on trend when it comes to anything fashion. So like if you need to just figure out like what's going on in the world right now, go to their website and spend 5 minutes. Just like scroll through. You can't trust like a lot of the other brands like Uniqlo or Zara. I know Zara is really popular in Europe and it's like a Spanish brand, but H&M for sure.
He's just a wealth of knowledge on all, and I'm just like agreeing, but I have no frame of reference. I'm just like, yeah, that's great. Why I'm here. That's great.
That's why I'm here.
All right, guys, trending in kids. Llamas have been trending for over a year now. Llamas are still trending, guys. Mermaids are kind of starting to disappear, but they'll probably be back for summer. Line art in different prints and, for example, wall art. Like pillows, blankets, bedding, nursery, t-shirts, yada, yada. Just very childlike line art is huge right now. Neutrals, really, really big. We're going to show you some examples of those. Wooden toys are massive right now. If you make toys, make sure that you have all of the proper certifications. Don't sell toys on Etsy unless you have the proper, what's the name? Somebody who sells toys, what certification do you need for toy sales? Post it in the comments because I can't remember offhand. And different shaped crayons. So like letter shaped crayons and little fish shaped crayons and just gingham. Different shaped crayons.
I don't know how is it I see Rebecca Kawaii Cactus Rebecca. Gingham is trending in fashion. It is absolutely trending in fashion.
What is that?
Gingham?
Yeah.
It's like a check sort of here. Google it.
Google it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Momento.
All right, while he's doing that, let's talk about textures. And these are going to apply in a lot of home decor, but you could also see them in shoes.
Plaid.
Oh, okay, so fine plaid.
Check plaid.
I just call that fine plaid.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite kind of plaid. I like what's this plaid called? This is my favorite. Like the kind of like the bold but kind of faded.
It's not Tattersall. Tattersall is different.
I don't know any of these.
Similar to Flanda. Linda Sue, man, she is so on point.
She is. She's my girl. All right, so textures. Wicker is huge right now. Oh my God, I'm seeing it in home decor. I'm seeing it in shoes. I'm seeing it in bags. I'm seeing it in hats. I'm seeing it all over the place. So wicker. Macrame, for some reason, is super trendy right now. I always remember do you know a grandma who had a giant macrame owl on the wall? Oh, yeah. Everybody had a grandma with a big, terrible macrame owl hanging on the wall. Somebody's going to jump in the comments and say,
hey, I've got one of those.
Those big macrame owls. But macrame is huge right now. Shiny things. Shiny. Guys, I have the new shiny. What phone do I have?
Galaxy
S10
10 Max
Plus.
Yeah.
Plus. So shiny things. Metallic. Yeah, there it is. Metallic things. And that plays into those 90 trends. Silly question, but is it too late to release a spring collection? Not necessarily, but stay away from Easter specific things, okay? But get it out as soon as possible. If you guys need help actually planning a product line, go to alphasugar.com. Renee Christine has created this really cool package of awesome freebies for you guys. And the first freebie is an entire video series on how to create product lines. So go get that like as soon as possible. alphasugar.com. So shiny, natural wood, huge in decor, and wooden watches. Have you seen wooden watches?
Watches are so
and sunglasses.
Cool. I have 2 pairs of wooden sunglasses. I got both of them when I was down in Miami, Florida.
Are they really wood, or do they just look like they're wood?
No, they're bamboo. What
if they break? And
they look cool. There's something unique about that It's sort of like how Anthony has his wooden desk instead of like a metal or something like that. I don't know. It just looks cool.
So wood, guys. Think wood natural, and decor.
Organic.
Yeah, and you want that natural wood grain. Like, don't paint it. Don't do anything crazy to it.
You honestly want to leave it untreated most of the time.
Yeah. Maybe a little gloss on it, but
little finish. One coat.
Leather, but specifically in warm tones. I think that's called liver. What's that really reddish brown called? I think it's called liver.
Yeah, it depends. Some brands call it different things, like
caramely color.
Yeah, like some people will call it like saddle brown. You know what I mean? And then other people like they'll call it like, oh, what's the word for it?
Yeah, saddle brown sounds right.
It's got the word blood in it.
I love Alexis. She said the wicker and wooden items are alternatives to plastic, which lots of people are turning back to.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Plastics are just very unattractive.
They are destroying our flippin' planet, guys.
And think about it this way: like if you look at I know we've kind of touched a little bit on like technology and products in there, but you're starting to see a move away from like companies manufacturing like laptops with plastics, and they're all sort of following trend and going towards aluminum.
Yep.
It's nice.
Yeah, my laptop's aluminum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most are now. You'd be hard pressed to find a laptop that is like 100% made out of
ox blood.
Ox blood. Yes, that's what I was looking
terracotta.
For. I actually have a pair, like Allen Edmonds, the dress shoe maker. They call it ox blood. It's like a deep red. Super cool.
Brighton Pip Astrid asked, how about cork? I'm kind of seeing cork sprinkled in home decor, and she said she makes pet accessories. So I mean, I would try it. I haven't necessarily seen it in pet accessories, but I do see it in decor, so that might be something to consider. And then lastly, velvets are in, but what I noticed for the winter, velvets in the winter were bold colors, bold and dark, like navy and emerald and burgundy. But right now they're all muted, light gray, rose pink, kind of that dusty blue color. So if you're going to go with velvets in home decor or in clothing, I would mute those colors out a little bit and make sure that you're not using those bolds that we saw over the winter.
G Morgan, you asked, what if your product is made from recycling that nasty plastic? Then you're absolutely doing exactly what everyone else is doing, which is trying to move away from like using the plastic as being the actual thing that makes the item. So like by, I don't know, taking product that's already out there that's plastic and then flipping it and turning it into something better. And
market it as such. Like, don't let that go under the radar. Make sure that that is your selling point, because people will buy just for that reason.
Yeah.
All right. So clothing, bold patterns, bold, ridiculous patterns, like what we were talking about. All the big, crazy colored triangles and random shapes and geometrics and stuff are huge right now.
Do you think any of these trends apply to vintage product lines? Well, yeah, because if you think about it, the trends come from the past, right? It's like reinterpretations of things that have already happened. So depending on like how you tie it, absolutely you can make that work.
Yeah, because you can sell vintage on Etsy. Did you know that you can sell vintage on Etsy? I wasn't sure if you were familiar with that.
So you can actually just sell like straight up vintage.
Yeah, so if you create like a vintage product line, for example, we'll say
like when I'm trying to find an actual Metallica t-shirt from like '84. An actual like vintage Metallica tee. There's like an Etsy shop for that.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
so,
super
and
cool.
And you could align a product line, release a product line. If you went and scouted for all these articles of clothing, you could release a product line as such. Keep in mind, guys, Nate doesn't sell on Etsy. He just knows a lot about business. So, all right. So bold patterns are big. No patterns, just solids are huge right now. I'm seeing, it goes with that minimalist stuff. I mean, it just plain tees. I'm noticing a lot of plain dress shirts with nothing on them, plain dresses.
Or one giant just logo.
Giant logo. Let's see. Polka dots are going to be big for spring and summer, and not giant polka dots. I'm seeing a lot more small polka dots, like black with white dots and things. Those are really big in clothing and in decor. You want to talk about dad shoes for a minute?
Dad shoes.
That was yours. Yes. You're the one who brought that up.
Dad shoes. So
wait, before you go on, everyone type a brand of dad shoe in the comments and let us know what is your idea of a dad shoe. Type it in the comments. All right, go.
So there, like 2 years ago, there was this brand called Balenciaga, and they are one of those runway brands. They're kind of on par with like Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Saint Laurent, something like that. But they came out with a shoe called the Triple S. Okay, it's a $700 sneaker, and it literally looks like the Reebok that your dad wears when he goes outside to mow the grass. But it's $700.
Are the green stains included like in the price?
Yeah.
Oh,
actually,
really?
they have a faded distressed version that's even more than that.
Look at the brands. New Balance,
Yeah,
New Balance.
New Balance, Aldo. It's interesting. Somebody said Aldo. Aldo is not that popular. That's pretty cool that you know about them, Lauren. Dr. Scholl.
Hush Puppies. Oxford. Bila.
Let me see if I could pull up the Balenciaga Triple S. And, you know, so like what came after that shoe, and it did so well, every brand, including Adidas, Nike, all the big like shoe brands in America, they started following this trend. So now you're seeing like a whole subculture of like 90s retro like dad vibes.
And guys, keep in mind that if you don't make shoes, use this information in other ways. Make Father's Day cards with funny dad shoes. You know, make a funny pun about dad shoes. Make a funny t-shirt like my grass mowing shirt.
I don't know if that'll pull up on the camera or not, but yeah.
There you go.
That is legitimately a $700 sneaker that is just selling out like crazy.
So dad shoes.
Dad shoes are huge.
Floral patterns are huge right now. Whether
all
there's
your hoodies that have like
I buy this line of hoodies from a company called Civil Regime, and they have embroidered roses down the sleeves that I really love, but all over patterns too. So that is going to be big in any type of home decor, clothing, prints, yada yada. Let's see. Leather is huge in everything right now, but specifically the browns, mainly that nice, what do we call it? Oxblood. Oxblood, which is a really like rich kind of terracotta color, and different shades of brown. I'm noticing it in, what are the men's toiletry bags are really big on Etsy.
They're called DOP kits.
There's a keyword for you guys. You hear that? I would have never.
DOPP, DOP kits.
I would have never known that. Go search that on erank or etsyrank.com and check out DOP kits. DOP kits. That sounds like, I don't know.
Weird, but it's the name.
All right, so let's talk about women's fashion, and then I'll let you do some men's. High-rise jeans. Guess what? Muffin tops didn't exist in the 70s when everyone wore high-rise jeans. Those only existed in, I'd say, the 90s, 2000s, when people started wearing them way down low and showing off everything they had. Man bag. The man purse.
It's 1P, not 2Ps. You're right, Rosabella.
Is it 1P?
It's 1P, not 2.
So high-rise pants, denim, everything is big in women's fashion.
Oh, did you guys know that Levi's went public? Levi, the jeans manufacturer. Yeah, they just went public.
I love how you had to explain, you know, the jeans. Like I didn't know.
Yeah, it's just like that, just mind-blowing. You can buy their stock now.
Oh.
How cool is that?
That's awesome. Go buy in now. Let's see. And
it's $22 per share.
And dyed denim.
Dyed denim.
And that shouldn't just be women's. I should put that everywhere. But I'm noticing not just dyed, but what's it called when you just kind of dye it? So you can still see a little bit of the original like integrity of the denim, like a little bit of that grain. But then there's just a really like...
Yeah, that's just the washing process. There's...
like wash denim.
Yeah. Okay. There's basically like denim that has never been washed before. That's called like selvage denim, and it's made on a different kind of loom. So like the fabric is woven together more tightly, kind of the way like traditional jean manufacturers back in the 1800s would do. Now that all products and garments are mass produced,
stonewash,
yeah. Now that all garments are kind of mass produced, there's like a different kind of like looming device that's used to like weave the jean together. So like most of the time all the fabric is pre-washed, and then they're treated to where they actually look like they're worn in a little bit. Like your jeans that you're wearing has these lines or what's called whiskering all throughout them, but that whiskering was actually done to the fabric before they actually put the jean together. And there's specifically like a subculture movement where people only buy like unwashed, untreated.
Isn't that you? Denim. Don't you do that?
Yep.
Needle and Fred. I love your name. Needle and Fred said skinny jeans are over. I guess I gotta go change.
Skinny jeans are over. Actually, skinny is okay.
And men's especially.
So 10 years ago, men didn't have a skinny jean. You could only get a boot cut jean. Now there's like skinny, there's tailored, there's tapered, and you don't really see a denim that's like full cut. You don't see boot cut jeans for guys.
No, you
anymore.
don't. You really don't.
It's not really a thing.
Yeah, but you know what I'm seeing a lot in women's is the revival of that Jinko look, and I hate it. Yeah. Do you guys remember Jinkos? Oh,
nope.
God.
Nope.
My dad wore Jinkos. Anthony wore Jinkos too. Jinkos. Guys, if you don't know about Jinkos, look them up. You'll know them when you see them. Yeah, or don't. Save yourself the trouble. Don't look up Jinkos. All right, so in men's, I've only got 2 for men. So go ahead and hit those 2. And then if you have any that you want to add, since you
print pants. Yeah, so print everything. Print has always been sort of something that's been played around with, but you're seeing a lot more brands. Like last year especially, there was a big movement in the like Hawaiian shirt look. Like that came back. If you walked into any department store,
you're not seeing that much this year though.
No,
the Hawaiian shirts,
but they are everywhere. Seriously, like it's Hawaiian shirts, floral shirts, the big dragons with like, you remember those, like the silk shirts?
Like that kid in middle school who always made fun of you, but then ended up like
played card games at lunch. That semi-formal, that's pretty interesting. So and this was something that I talked to Starla about a couple of days ago, and I'm kind of glad we're right here because this would be something maybe you guys will be able to relate to. Malls in America are just dying.
Oh yeah.
And it is getting harder and harder to find a place to go to shop for clothes. It really is. Like, unless you go into a department store or a store like a Nordstrom where they actually will sell multiple brands in one store, it's like really hard to walk into a place where there is like a J. Crew or there's like an American Eagle. Like, it's getting harder. Retail is actually like on its way out, which is awesome for you guys. But because of that, you're kind of seeing a shift away from these like massive, like, I don't know, physical marketing campaigns. And what you're seeing now is like everything's moved to Instagram. Everything is moved to Facebook. Everything is on the internet, right?
And these small brands are really taking over. And this is great for you guys because people are paying less attention to these big brands and they're looking for a small brand to latch onto, similar to how I talked about Civil Regime. That's one of those brands that anytime they have a product launch, I follow it because I want to buy from them. And you guys, being these small companies, can take over these markets. And actually, we have this level playing field now. People are spending a lot less time in the mall and they're spending more time shopping online. So
they're researching too. I think for the first time, you're actually seeing a pretty well-rounded and educated consumer. So like buying decisions are way more like it's not that it's more of a well-informed decision. It's maybe more of an emotional decision, but it's definitely like they're more inclined to pick things that they really want instead of being sold something based off of somebody else's.
Right.
I don't know, pitch or somebody else's like idea. You're seeing people kind of like start to branch out and like sort of do their own thing.
And that's why there's a lot, there's a lot more uniqueness now because there's more variety to the world. It's not just what you see at the store. So,
and that's where like all of these small startup brands that are just even from Instagram, like there are so many brands right now that are just alive on Instagram that are slowly like starting to make their way up and challenge some of these mass market brands like J. Crew. J. Crew is almost dead. I mean, they make great clothing. I'm a huge fan of their brand, and they actually have helped create like that. You talked about semi-formal. I think that's always going to be a part of American subculture because it's sort of like that's intertwined with like the like Oxford Union and like that whole mindset of like basically the Northeast and all that. So you're always going to have a small part of American like fashion where it's going to be like Oxford dress shirts, skinny, like really short salmon pants. That whole thing is always going to sort of stay. But what you are seeing now is like brands like Levi's, they're actually creating like shirts.
Right.
Which is weird.
Guys, think about these
t-shirts anymore. It's actual like button shirts.
Think about these in ways that, for example, if you make any products for men, maybe your products aren't necessarily clothing, but say you make wallets. How can you do maybe like a flat lay photo of a nice dress shirt and some sunglasses and your wallet and a nice watch, and you lay it all flat and you take a picture and you post it on Instagram and it goes viral? I mean, those are the type of photos that people are looking for. People love to see these choreographed outfits laying flat. So think about ways that you can incorporate all of these trends into what you make, even if you don't necessarily make the thing that we're talking about.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Even if you don't like design a product, like you could still look at those products that are out there, see how they're marketed, pull something away from it and use it and flip it into your own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and the cool thing with like Etsy is I feel like there's a lot of room for opportunity for like some of these shops to like really transform how it is that they advertise to people, you know, because there's definitely, I think, some room to grow in terms of like Instagram, for instance. They dominate when it comes to the flat lay and for the like modern
aesthetics, like, yeah.
So I feel like if maybe people would copy some of those things that they see on Instagram, move them over to Etsy, you would just see like almost probably like double the traffic that you would have before. Because now like you actually have pictures on your website that people want to look at. It's not just I'm interested in the product. I actually just like the photo. You know what I mean?
Right. And but then even if you just like the photo and you enjoy it, those are still the people who maybe, you know, a few years down the line, you release something that they do like.
Exactly. So. And that's where like if you can sort of tie in all these pieces that we're talking about, you're just going to set yourself up for better success in the future.
All right, let's move to decor.
Decor.
We've kind of already talked about all these. Minimalist, lots of whites. Organization. If you create any product that allows for organization, whether that be baskets or maybe like desk organizers, all of that right now is massive because going along with this minimalist look, people want to find very clean ways to store things that they would normally have laying out. So any type of organizational product. Faux greenery is huge. I've seen so many like faux wreaths that are completely made out of things like eucalyptus, which is trending right now. If you make anything that incorporates greenery or scents, eucalyptus is huge. Diffusers are huge. They've been big for a while now, but we're starting to see more really nice looking diffusers. So if you create a product that caters to diffusers, if you create any type of oils or things like that, make sure that you're staging it with a nice diffuser, because even if you don't sell the diffuser, it's still going to be a calling to people who are looking for products that align with what they might already have or a product that they would like to have. Planters shaped like animals. That's really weird. It's really out there, but I'm seeing them all over the place. So
specific.
Yeah, it's very specific, but they're everywhere, like little clay planters. Clay crafted in general is huge, specifically glossed. So if you do baked clay, start glossing, because for some reason, as of recently, all these really nice glossy clay organizers and jewelry dishes and planters and what are the little plant stakes that, you know, that identify the different types of plants and they stamp in what type of plant it is? Those are all really big.
Let's see here. It looks like, who asked the question? Oh, Kiona. Would you put a flat lay as your first product photo?
No, I would not, because that would be on Etsy. What that does is it's going to confuse the person as to what they're buying. If you want to use a flat lay, use it as like the second or third photo. The first photo needs to be just the product that you're selling. Don't clog it up. If someone doesn't know what they're buying, they're not going to click on your list.
Yeah, but having flat lays is huge.
Absolutely.
I mean, you definitely want to visually stimulate the person that you're trying to sell to. And a flat lay is a great way to do that, but only if it's executed well, because there are so many flat lays at this point. You don't want to have yours like fall into the trap of just looking like everyone else's. And it's really easy for that to happen.
Now, on the psychology standpoint, the reason that flat lays actually work is because the person who is viewing, you're giving them a reason to explore for a long period of time. We actually talk about this in Handmade Alpha Academy. If you guys are in there, we talk about it in ad feel. But what you're encouraging is for their eyes to travel from part to part to part to part to part. And as a human, what we try to do when we see an image is we try to solve it like a puzzle if we don't initially understand it. And when you have a lot of elements for the eyes to explore, it's going to cause that person to look at that image for longer, which is ultimately what you want to do when advertising. You want them to look at that ad for as long as possible. Yeah. So all really important. Breakfast themed items, like, have you seen like socks with eggs and bacon and goofy things like that? That's all huge right now.
I have a pair of socks that have bacon on them.
Yeah,
with like little bacon guy.
We got there's bacon blanket over there, bacon and eggs, and I'm noticing the egg cups, the ones like that you actually eat your egg out of. I don't think those aren't big in the U.S.
No,
are they?
Not really. That's a European thing.
Yeah, but the little egg cups, I'm seeing a lot of those right now, and that might just be Easter specific. But with breakfast being really big in general, it might be something to consider.
Somebody asked if I was your apprentice.
You might apprentice, kinda. Is that what are you? What do you consider?
What do I consider myself? A pupil.
A pupil. There we go. He's learning things,
yes.
And we are also. Should I announce the events that are coming in Pittsburgh and stuff? Are you confirmed for those?
Yeah, I'm confirmed.
We're doing Bitchcraft Fair this year, and Nate will actually be speaking at those. We will have dates soon, but we will be in Pittsburgh. We will be in Columbus and possibly Louisville and Chicago, but we're not sure on those two. But we know
I want to go to Chicago.
I've been to Chicago. It's all right.
Thank you, Kitty.
Let's see. Natural agate slices in different colors. Have you seen all the agate slices, like the actual gemstone agate, the flat?
Yeah.
Lots of agate. My whole bathroom is done in gemstones, and hand-drawn artwork in different prints, wall art on pillows and things like that. So those are all in decor. Let's go ahead and bump into themes. Then we have skincare and scents, and then we're going to show you some actual examples. Themes, succulents. Man, I'm seeing succulents everywhere.
Everywhere I see.
Yeah, we've got all these little things all over our house. All these little fake planters that I bought at Michael's because I think that a splash of greenery is really nice. So succulents, llamas are still big. We talked about those in children's, but they're still a big theme overall, no matter what you make. Pineapples, getting into summertime, all the pineapples and fruit slices and things.
Put them on all the pizzas.
On all, no! You're gonna
have that debate right now.
You're gonna make everybody mad. How? Okay, so you're more into like the modern like trendiness. Have you seen all the sticker bombing is coming back?
Oh, yes.
Sticker bombing.
Big.
Do you guys know what sticker bombing is? It's when you take an item and you completely cover it in stickers. So if you make stickers, what I recommend is creating a huge pack that people can buy like 100 of them so that they can completely cover their laptop, or we see it with guitars a lot where they'll cover the whole guitar or the whole guitar case in different stickers. So that might be something to consider if you can sell a pack of like 100 of them and then label it like sticker bomb pack. Game of Thrones will be coming out. Don't create anything specifically Game of Thrones because HBO will come get you. But with Game of Thrones coming back, wolves and dragons are trending right now. So make sure that if you do create a product that's kind of fantasy-like, keep in mind that the sales of wolves and dragons will be dramatically increasing. They do for me. Every time that Game of Thrones is about to come out, all my dragon keys sell out.
That's awesome.
My most popular dragon set actually just sold out completely yesterday.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, did anybody happen to catch the story of Emilia Clarke?
Yeah, about her aneurysms.
Can you believe that?
No, that's crazy. It's everywhere. Yeah, she apparently thought that she was going to die in recording season 2, and she didn't go public with it until after this season was already recorded. So
she is just awesome, man.
She is. Let's see. 90s trends. We talked about that already. Corgis. Corgis are everywhere. Have you seen the corgi butt leggings? Have you seen those? There's these leggings that have come out, and the butt is a corgi butt, which is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that, but corgis are big. I saw a corgi shirt at Kroger's yesterday.
How are feathers doing? I make feather pens. That's tied into the Game of Thrones stuff.
Well,
bit, right?
more. Feathers, I'm thinking more like the boho theme, which is still big. Especially summer music festival season. Everybody's going to want to do all the different feather items. So that, you know what? I think it would work, especially if you really, really cater to that kind of boho office type vibe. I think my office upstairs is kind of got that boho theme.
Somebody has 2 corgis.
Corgis. Palm leaves are big. I'm seeing those everywhere. Like men's shirts covered in palm leaves.
Yeah.
Those big.
That goes back to that Hawaiian thing.
Yeah, big palm leaves. Not necessarily doing all the Hawaiian flowers and stuff anymore, but those big palm leaves are everywhere. And that goes with that emerald color that we talked about previously.
I'm seeing pooped themed products everywhere in kids still. I know. Yeah,
I'm ready for that to be over. That's been like 2 years now.
Yeah, I'd like to just move us away from potty.
Yes,
jokes
God.
and just
My child requested several poop toys for Christmas, and we did not give in to the poop things.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Grandma bought her a couple poop things, but I'm like, okay, well, we're not doing that. Enamel pins are huge. I'm seeing enamel pins all over the place. So if there's any way that you can incorporate enamel pins, then that is something interesting. All right, so skincare. I've only got 2 major scents if you're in the skincare industry. However, citrus is always going to be big around this time of year. But the 2 in particular that I'm seeing is coconut, which is pretty big all the time, I think, and grapefruit. I wasn't really expecting that. I hate grapefruit. I don't like the way. Oh God,
man, grapefruit is fantastic.
Nasty. It's so bitter. I like the bitter bite of like cranberry juice, but grapefruit to me is just, there's no flavor. It's just it's like brushing your teeth and then drinking orange juice. That's what it tastes like to me. That's
the worst.
Oh, nasty. Let's see.
You're my hero. I'm not embracing the poop.
Don't embrace the poop, guys. Gosh, don't embrace the poop.
Don't do it.
All right. Stay away. Let's see. Lastly, we're going to get into scents for those who make candles, bath products. What else is scented?
Everything.
Smelly.
All the things.
Smelly things. Coconut fusions. So coconut and, vanilla, coconut and pineapple, coconut and blah, 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 blah. So coconut fusions are big. Tiger lily. We're talking about springtime. So all of these are going to be really, really popular through like now until summer. Linen scents are really, really big right now. And I'm not a big fan of that linen scented, like linen candles.
Yeah.
Not a fan. I don't like it.
Here's something random. Emma asks, it's not random, but here's an off-topic thing for you. Any jewelry trends? We haven't really touched on that yet. A
lot of these that we've talked about, like the touch of gold, the rose gold, the natural gemstones. I'm seeing a lot of people making polymer clay succulent pendants that look really nice. All of these silly themes like the pineapples, the llamas and things, the 90s trends, all of those crazy colors, geometric shapes in jewelry. You have to take all of these elements and then apply them kind of to what you do. I'm noticing a lot of tassel jewelry is big.
And I'm not really like on and from what I pay attention to, other than outside of seeing men actually start to wear a watch again, I'm not really seeing like a big jewelry like push per se.
For men?
Now, for women, I know you talked about the black pearl.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
Are you asking me to share that story? Yeah. Because now, does anybody know the story of black pearls? So there's this guy in, I can never remember what year. I think it was in the 50s, but I might be wrong. But his name was Salvador Sol. If you guys have read Predictably Irrational, you'll already know this story. But Salvador Sol was the Pearl King. And at the time, he was, he was just huge in the pearl industry. He was the #1. And he brought all of these black pearls into America and tried to sell them, but they were worthless. Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted black pearls because they were, they were ugly compared to white pearls. So what he did was he went to his friend, Harry Winston, and asked Harry Winston to put these black pearl necklaces right next to the expensive white pearls in his storefront with a high price point, even higher than the white pearls. And from that point on, despite the fact that black pearls were not nearly as rare or as like highly desired as white pearls, black pearls suddenly took up the entire market. You saw everybody wearing black pearls and people were paying, tons of money for these black pearls just because he carved his own little niche in the marketplace. And black pearls are still more expensive than white pearls, despite the fact that they're not nearly as rare. So there's your new thing that you learned. There's your thing. All right. More scents. Hibiscus fusions. Hibiscus. And that's like in teas too. Hibiscus is huge right now. Oh, yeah. Sangria fusions. Anything with the sangria name in it.
Sangria is fantastic.
Yes. Orchid scents. Citrus, like lemons. I think we've got lemon candles lit right now. Pineapple and sandalwood fusions are all big. So let's go ahead and share our screen with you guys so you can take a look at where we find these trends. Prepare to be blinded for a minute. All right. Where is my screen share? All right, for just a second, we're not going to be able to see your comments, but we will catch up in a minute. So the number one place that I go to find trends is Target, and they actually have a trends area right on their site. One of these pulls photos direct from Instagram if you're interested in searching what people are actually buying and tagging from Target. We're noticing a lot of consistency with some of the themes that we previously, discussed. But this is the section where you're going to want to go. And everything is grouped into different categories that you can explore. We're seeing those palm leaves. We're seeing those bright, freaking crazy colors, pineapples, flamingos, all the tropical things. More neons. This goes all with that 90s. Look at that collar. That's crazy. That's
a little loud.
That's a little loud, just a little. Here's some of that shiny that we're seeing. And notice how they're staging a lot of these photos over some of the colors that are trending, even though the products don't follow those colors. We talked about lavender being big. Look at the backgrounds. We talked about the beige and neutrals being big. Look at the backgrounds.
Dad shoes.
Dad shoes, the shiny, the teals. Here we are with some more wicker products for those who were confused about wicker. And here's some macrame, all very big. Everyone's loving this llama basket. Lots more wicker. Beige. Beige is huge. And they predicted this. Remember when we came out this, I think in January, and we said that beige was going to be huge? There it is. We told you. Scrolling down. Polka dots. Lots and lots of polka dots. Smaller dots. Obviously, those are going to be more specific to fashion and different textiles. Here's a really good example of kind of what we were talking about with that touch of color. We've got a little bit of gold. There's a little touch of that brown, some of that organization. We've got a little touch of gold on the pineapple. Here we are with some of that faux greenery that we talked about. Coral, color of the year. You guys knew that was going to be big. And now we're getting kind of close into the stuff that was from winter time. But here's another good example of some of those touches of color. We've got some beige incorporated. We've got that little touch of green, and we've got that really minimalist look. So you guys are free to go to Target and check out some of these. Next, I want to pop into Nursery Ideas. And I know that this is really weird, but if it's trending in nursery, it's going to be trending in decor in general. So we can see those leaf patterns again. Those neutrals are translating over. Those soft tones. We're seeing a lot less like, I don't know, like car kids' rooms and things. There's that lavender again. Everything is just very, very subtle. Same with boys' nurseries. We're seeing a lot of grays, lots of light blues, couple navies. There's some of those geometric patterns and things, but everything is still really subtle when it comes to decor. Next, we're going to pop over to Etsy into what's trending and really look at the type of photos that Etsy picks for these editors picks, okay? When I say make sure that you're photographing on a light or white background, this is why. There are very few photos that you're gonna see here that aren't on light backgrounds. Notice some of these glossy clays, or seeing the animal planters with the succulents, seeing lots of floral themed items are trending right now. Once again, more succulents. Here's some of that glazed clay work, lots of greenery. Lots of the minimalist and kind of geometric decor, and still a lot of neutral colors with a touch of green. So I really, really like the overall look of this stuff. It's kind of got that farmhouse vibe. Popping into the gifts for her, we're seeing a lot more dainty jewelry, but we're also seeing a lot of gemstones emerging. Here are some of those palm leaves that we previously talked about, a lot of the same colors we've been talking about. This is a really good resource if you are in the jewelry industry and you just kind of want to take from these gifts pages. You can see a lot of the colors that are going to be doing well for the next few months. And look, another enamel pin. See, this is a really cool example where we talk about, for example, we said succulents and plants are trending right now. Well, this shop obviously only makes pins, right? So they're not going to make something with a succulent, but they can incorporate that trend into what they do make. So there's a really cool example there. Nate, why don't you dissect the men's section?
No, the men's section is awesome.
Look at all there's that red leather.
There's that oxblood. Now some people are gonna get, this to me looks more like a saddle brown. You're seeing the use of the gold hardware. Men are finally starting to understand that gold is cool, but only when it's done in a reserved sort of a way. But you're seeing a lot of leathers, lots of woods. It's basically all of the hipster guys that are like not actual manly men. So they're trying to wear and have items that make them
that rugged.
Yeah, that have that rugged aesthetic to them.
There's that agate.
Yeah, there's like I'm really liking things like this. Men are actually finally starting to think about design now. And like here's the all over like print socks. These have been popular for
you always wear print socks. Always,
yeah. It's the one item of clothing that nobody is ever going to see, really.
So you can have fun with it.
You can have fun with it, yeah. And I like to have fun. It's a good way to like show off a little personality,
especially if you're in an environment where you're actually taking those shoes off. Then you know it's going to be a casual environment regardless.
There you go. And then it's just like, look at this, the silver, the sterling silver and things like those are starting to come back a little bit. That's also really cool.
And notice the jewelry isn't super flashy. It's all very neutral.
It's flat and neutral. It's
hammered, like hammered jewelry.
Yeah, unrefined maybe a little bit. I really like this. The pictures. That bag. Yeah. Well, yeah, and then
just the image.
Just the image in general, that it just gives off like a really cool idea. I'm liking how you're starting to notice like tattoos are being included in a lot more photography and a lot more marketing now. So they're trying to blend in this idea of, bringing the modern era of like art is appreciated by everybody. Tattoos are cool. They're starting to like bring that in.
And that calls to their target market. If their target market is a tattooed guy and they're saying, oh, I make, this obviously opens a beer, then I think that it all ties in. You can really see who everybody's trying to cater to. For example, the guy with the bag, he's got the wristwatch on. You know that this is going to be a guy who might be going on business trips a lot. So, I mean, this is all a lifestyle that people are trying to aspire towards. For example, the ring, look at the background here. Look at the vintage car in the background that he's driving. These are all so well thought out. So really, really, even if you don't make products that cater to these markets, look at the backgrounds and the ways that people are adapting these backgrounds to the target market that they're trying to appeal to. Popping over to women's fashion, we're seeing a lot of those solids that I was talking about. I'm noticing that there's not a whole lot of skin tight in women's right now. And even leggings I'm seeing less and less of. I'm seeing more big poofy clothing.
It's like 90s.
Yeah, that 90s vibe is coming back. We're seeing a lot of the kind of boho vibes. Here's some of that that wicker that we were talking about. And I guess that's pretty much it. Women's, I mean, we've pretty much touched on women's. There's not a whole lot of different things on the actual recommended by Etsy, but feel free to come to this page. It is in their editor's picks. Okay, so those were gifts for men. This is just men's fashion. So you want to dissect here?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that llama button up.
You're starting to see like very plain things, like basic white, no patterns. I mean, some patterns, like if it's really loud, but there's no subtle patterns here. It's either like you're going full blank, like just flat blank canvas, or you're really like your whole outfit is just loud. You're really starting to see a comeback into sartorialism. So like men are starting to think about like actually wearing a suit again, and they're trying to figure out where the suit plays a role in their lives.
With your shorts?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
You're seeing high-end brands like Tom Brown start to really embrace the like shrunken suit again. I know that was cool like 5 years ago, but that's really coming back. Here's the crazy socks. Here's the leather. Here's the muted brown. Here's that sterling silver again. I mean, it's all.
And even the graphic tees have a different look than what they did. They're all kind of vintage looking. Some of them are
muted
faded
colors or more playful, but either it just doesn't have that early 2000s gross look that everybody was into.
All right, so the last thing that I want to show you guys before we pop over and answer questions is the brand that is currently featured on Etsy. And the reason I want to kind of show these guys to you is you have to consider that if you get featured on Etsy, I mean, that is the biggest honor, being an Etsy seller. So really take note of how Baltic Linen has structured their product photography and their shop in general. So first of all, they make bedding. And notice that this is kind of a rough linen. we're looking at some of these photos, and it's not a clean, perfect workspace. We're not seeing like a nice, you know, pretty office. It almost looks like a studio apartment. But all of this is very intentional. I don't think that a single photo here was taken without intention, and everything is following current trends. We're seeing colors, we're seeing some of that minimalist decor sprinkled in, and I think that a lot of these items really played a role in Etsy's choice to feature this shop. You have to really, really study shops like this that Etsy's choosing. That way you can kind of increase your odds, not necessarily of Etsy featuring you, but making sure that you're getting noticed. Because obviously if this shop was featured on Etsy, that means that they were popular enough to be featured and noticed by Etsy. So this shop was called Baltic Linen. Be sure to go check them out. So I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing. There we go. Pop this back open. Boop. And a boop. All right. So Nate, you have to take Mr. Moore's role today and scroll up and see if we can find some questions. That way I'm not having to lean over you. I hate stickers. Man, if you're a parent, yeah, you do hate stickers. I hate stickers because they're always stuck to the bottom of my feet. Pineapple on pizza. Okay, wait, we can go way down because I think that this was when we were still talking about themes. Yeah. Let's see. Are we missing? I saw feathers as a trend in Vogue. If it's trending in Vogue, then it's trending. So if you see it in Vogue, run with it. I'm so done with the poo stuff. So much enamel pin love. That goes into the 90s too. All the pins and buttons and crazy things.
And the craziness.
Let's see. Grapefruit is an acquired taste.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes, it is.
I don't like the bitter, guys.
So is coffee.
Let's see. Keep going. There's Emma's any jewelry trends, so we're way far down. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Can candy themed jewelry sell? I don't know exactly. Okay, so do you mean like candy as in you're using like pony beads? Because I know that that is called candy, which was huge in the 90s. So I would say that that would be big. But if you're talking about candy like themes, I think it really just depends on who's your target market. Are you catering to kids? Are you catering to teenagers who are trying to kind of have that 90s colorful neon look to them? I think that really just depends on who your market is. Guys, get your questions in. We're probably going to hang out for about 15 more minutes and then we're going to bounce. Let me know what you guys want to know about the trends that we've talked about. Amy says, I sell sweet hibiscus chapsticks. That's perfect. Advertise those right now. Run an ad campaign for them. Make sure that if you're using promoted listings that you have them turned on for that particular product since it is going to be trending. Let's see. Minimal jewelry or maximal jewelry. I think it goes both ways. Do you see the big chunky jewelry too? Mm-hmm. I think it's either or. You could go both ways.
Absolutely.
But I think you should specialize. I think you should do one or the other. Either be a shop that only has minimalist or a shop that only has chunky. I wouldn't try to do both because then people are going to wonder what you're known for.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Gray is a perfect color to get your house sold. Yes. Gray is huge in home decor right now. We just 2 years ago painted our living room gray, and ew, you never saw our living room before we painted. It was green. It was like the snottiest textured green. Let's see. I usually get my products photographed by models outside girls' clothing. Is that okay to do, or should I just do something where the pictures have solid backgrounds? As long as they're nice photos, that's fine. They can be taken outside, but you have to have, if you have a professional photographer taking them, then that's perfect. Go with that. I think what really matters is that the photos look nice. And generally, a white background is a surefire way to make sure that it looks nice. But as long as you stage it, there's not a bunch of crap in the background, like, some cars and a lamppost and things, you should be fine. Let's see. Crystals and mineral in general have been a lot more mainstream. Yes, they are trending. Lots of natural gemstones.
Trending, maybe hopeful. Indigo, just like the color.
Like the navy tone, or like a little.
Indigo is always cool.
Yeah, and with gold, I'm noticing a lot of like navy with a touch of gold. Oh, yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Ooh, I don't want to lose this one. How do you ask a client to write an Etsy review? My client emailed a wonderful make you cry review. I can't use it. I mean, I wouldn't track them down and try to bug them and say, hey, I loved your review, but I'd appreciate it if you put it on Etsy. That'll take a little bit of the spark out of it. We will be releasing a updated swipe file series, which will teach you how to legally, without breaking any Etsy rules, it will teach you how to ask for reviews in a very non-offensive way that won't upset your customers. That will be coming soon. We just got a little bit busy with something else, but he will be editing those videos. Well, we'll probably do that sometime next month. Sometime next month. So expect that to come out soon. Is it safe to say the boho copper patina jewelry is in for summer? Boho is always big for summer. How can I incorporate these trends into my shop? I do feather pens, chapsticks, jewelry, and use them as inspirational items. I send uplifting quotes with every order, and it revolves around the phoenix. It sounds very much like you have a lot going on in your shop. So if there isn't a cohesive product, there needs to be a cohesive message behind it. And the message is what you sell. People they're buying the product, but ultimately what they're buying is the message or the theme behind the products. That's how brands get viral. So my recommendation is no matter what you sell, find the cohesive element that you really want to be about, that you want to be known for, and make sure that that as a whole is what you market. For example, what's the brand of shoes that if you buy a shoe, they donate the shoe? Tom's. That's what they sell. I mean, they sell shoes, but they really push the fact that when you buy a shoe, they donate a shoe. So what they're selling is the message, not necessarily just the shoe. And there's tons of brands like that who do things like that. All right. Also, when are you doing another live critique? My dears, you have to consider that those live critiques are, despite the fact that they're popular, we can't just become the live critique channel. And I know that you guys want more of them because you all want time with me, but we're probably going to have to sprinkle them out because we can't do, every week live critiques. So maybe once a month. So I don't have a date, but you guys will be the first to know, I promise. What color trends are in kids' toys and clothing? All of the color trends that we talked about in nursery. So if you missed that, be sure to rewatch or go to Target.com and go into their nursery section and check out what's trending there. That's my favorite place to find trending themes for kids. Let's see. Random question. Can you put things in your shop between product launches? So when you do have a product launches, there's also other things in your shop. Personally, I wouldn't. Major brands don't just release one product here, here, have this one. We just decided to launch it. Brands all do product collections. They release an entire collection unless you're big like Apple. And you can, unless you're big like Apple and you have the ability to launch one product, Our bathroom's really messy, by the way. We have a kid. You're allowed to say potty break on stream, by the way. I would recommend sticking to collections, guys. That would be my recommendation ultimately. But if you want to release a one-off product every once in a while between launches, make sure that you still market it almost like a product launch, but you really make it special. That needs to be a really special product that is so special that you almost have to release it all on its own. Does that make sense? All right. What do you think about spiritual jewelry, but mostly native pagan goddess and gods pendants? I create nature-inspired clay and crystal pendants. I have noticed a great increase in the pagan market just since I have been on Etsy. And let me be clear, guys, I didn't intentionally get into the pagan market on Etsy because none of my products are necessarily pagan themed. But what I noticed was that the pagan market kind of adopted me. And I actually, not being a pagan myself, I had to learn a whole lot about paganism so I could cater to my market and better cater to them. And now I find myself very informed on the market because that is my target market in general. But for those who are creating shops in that niche, let me just tell you that it is very popular on Etsy. So you are in good grounds. Just make sure that you're doing fantastic keyword research using EtsyRank.com. Gray is my basic branding color. I use it for my backgrounds and such. That's perfect. That means that you are perfectly on trend. Just joining what's hot in jewelry. I would recommend rewatching the stream. Let's see. Oh, and do you think it's too early to start showing Seashell collections? No, absolutely not. You guys, if you're thinking about releasing like a summer collection, it's not too early to do that. I know that we just hit springtime. So right now, ultimately, you need to start thinking about summer. Are you still planning to do something for one-of-a-kind artists? Here's the thing, guys. Handmade Oak Academy, we actually did put off only because Handmade Titan University is very well catered to one-of-a-kind artists. So it's not that I'm not creating Handmade Oak Academy. It's that I'm creating something else first because I need to have more experience in that area myself. I need to do a little bit more research so that I'm able to give you guys the best quality content for your industry. So I'm not saying no, I'm just saying not at this very second, but you can expect something soon. Let's see. A little off topic, but when searching for keywords, do you only look at eRank and Google? What other tools do you use? I use eRank because eRank pulls from Google and third-party data that is direct from Etsy. That is huge. It's not direct from Etsy, but it is third-party data from Etsy. So it's a trusted third-party source that has data from Etsy searches. So I absolutely use eRank, and eRank also pulls from Google. So eRank all the way. Highly recommend. eRank all the way. Let's see. If you say something is inspired by something, do you still run a risk of copyright issues? Yes, absolutely. No.
And here's the thing. You got to remember, with all of the craziness surrounding Game of Thrones, like people got prosecuted and sent to jail for leaking episodes of Game of Thrones early in the UK. So like, it's something like you're better off just avoiding it at all costs.
Yeah.
You know, like Adidas actually has a licensed partnership with Game of Thrones, and they're releasing a line of their most popular shoe called the Ultra Boost. They're releasing like a line based on Game of Thrones, but they can say that because they have a licensed partnership.
And they probably paid out the freaking wazoo for that. So
yes,
unless you're Adidas and you have the money to do that, I would not risk it. Let's see. If you say, oh, wait, I already read that. Southwest Designs. Like, yeah, because she creates, so Linda Sue creates, you know, the beaded Native American jewelry.
Yeah.
She's Native American. And she creates all kinds of like pendants and things. And she's switching over to just keychains, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that all kind of ties into that the boho festival vibe. So absolutely.
100%.
Natural gemstones are trending. Any particular type of gemstones? I'm seeing lots of agate, but ultimately I think that in general gemstones are just trending. Yeah, I'm seeing them all over the place. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. Toms. All right, guys, we're going to kind of scroll through, make sure that we're actually getting questions. I crochet and use a lot of acrylic yarns, and acrylic is a type of plastic. How do you think the change in not using or liking plastic affects my sales of material with acrylic yarns? Here's the thing. Don't mention it. Because just don't mention it in your like marketing. What I would say is that when you're creating something out of yarn, it's not going into the trash, right? It's something that they're going to probably be keeping for a long time. So I think that the longevity of the product is going to make it less likely that it's just going to be thrown away. What I do recommend is that in your packaging, using as little plastic as possible. And I know that that's hard for some of us. I have to use bubble wrap for my packages. I've tried other things. Nothing will keep my products from getting broken. So I would just recommend, making sure that if anyone brings it up, really stress the longevity of the product and that it isn't just going to be going into the garbage. What's next?
Right here. How many collections can you launch, especially if you have so many ideas?
The thing is, having a lot of ideas is great, but stockpile those ideas, because what you'll do is for example, when I first started my business, I did a collection launch every month. Guys, that was such a mistake. My fans became conditioned to a monthly collection launch to the point where I hated making my jewelry. I absolutely hated it, and they expected it. And it was really hard to get them out of that pattern to the point where now I only launch 4 times a year. Yeah. My suggestion would be to take all those ideas, make a notebook, and then you'll have endless ideas. If you guys need any help with product line training, make sure that you go to alphasugar.com. Renee Christine has made a really great, it's like a several month drip fed bundle of different goodies that you'll receive by email. If you go to alphasugar.com and enter your email address and name, the first thing that you'll receive is her product line training, though. That will teach you exactly how to create these product lines that we're talking about. But my advice to you is make sure that you're not overdoing it. Otherwise, you will get burned out. Even if it's fun now, I had a lot of fun when I first started out. Trust me, I wanted to make all the things. And now I have to force myself to go into my office because I am still kind of burned out. And we all reach that point at some point in our business, and you never want to hit that. Let's see.
Will you do some videos, Q&As about using social media for marketing well? I see so much mixed advice, and I feel like I have trouble getting interaction.
We have a couple social media videos. So I would go back on my channel and watch some of the older ones. I think we had one called Social Media for Newbies, but it is something that we can talk about if it is something that you're interested in. I just need to know what platforms that you guys most want to learn about, and maybe the order that you want to learn about them. Upfinished furniture, Heather. Not trend-based question. If products in your collection do well and you want to add them to your signature collection, how do you announce that and when? You don't necessarily have to announce it. You could just not get rid of them. Just keep them in your base product line. Just add them to your signature collection and don't get rid of them. Or you could release an announcement like available all year. We've added blah, blah, by popular demand. We've added this to our signature line, and then it will perpetually exist in your shop.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Not that I see. There was one thing I wanted to kind of add on to. You know, somebody was asking about like how many collections they should have at one point. It's like, if you think about clothing, most major brands, if they do a collection, and you're only going to see this in like high-end brands, like H&M is not going to have a collection, but all high-end brands, or like any fashion designer, they usually have 1 to 2 collections per year, and that's based off of season. So I would always think about, like, you know, when it comes to anything in your shop, like, why is it there? How often do you want it to be there? And is there something to be said about restricting the amount of time that a certain product is available? Because that's something that, like, even some scarcity is huge. I mean, that plays into economics, which we could get into if you want. But one of the things that's really cool, like even like Taco Bell, you know, they always have Taco Bell is that really cool brand that always like has something for a limited time and then pulls it off. Has something for a limited time and then pulls it off.
Like the nacho fries and the McRib.
Fries. Yeah, or the oh man, what was those taquitos, those chicken taquitos? But yeah, they're constantly like, they have a standard offering and then they have these like limited time offerings that, you know, really drive the hype around the normal.
And they go
business.
viral.
Yeah, they do. They go viral. And then and that's attributed to their marketing campaign. Yeah. But the concept here for you guys is really just like, you know, I'm sure there's a ton of product inside of all of your stores at all times. But have you ever considered what would happen if you launched a limited time offering of something? Maybe seeing how like that could increase traffic to at least the shop page. These are all things just to keep in mind. You know?
Yeah, and then when you bring it back, say, "Oh, back by popular demand." You guys asked
Pumpkin
for it.
Pumpkin spice latte, yes.
Exactly, man.
Yes.
Can you imagine how tiring it would be if pumpkin spice was available year round? I would get so sick of it.
Good,
it's special. It's special when it first comes out, like the first day at Starbucks. Have you seen the line?
Oh my gosh.
On day one, it's crazy. Since macrame is trending, will that translate into micro macrame necklaces or bracelets? I actually have seen a lot of micro macrame jewelry in the trending on Target. So that might be something to consider.
Oh, you've been pronouncing a word incorrectly. Beverly is correcting you.
A git.
Just so you know, agate has an accent on the first syllable.
Agate.
Not a gate with a squeaky hinge.
A gate. A gate. A git.
What months should you release new collections based on the seasons, if that makes sense? Now that Amy, that makes perfect sense. So like spring, you'd probably want to start thinking about that even as far
2 months before.
Yeah, I'd say February at the very latest. Summer, probably April, May.
Now.
Yeah. And then, you know, fall, you want to start talking about that like June, July. And then winter, obviously, you want to kind of start talking about that around like October, like Halloween time.
Yeah, February.
Just stage it back like 2 months before it actually is supposed to hit, if that makes any sense.
I was shopping for Taylor's birthday around February 8th, which, you know, that was her birthday. And they already had bikinis out at Target. So, I mean, think about that. And we are in Ohio. There is nobody swimming in Ohio in February, but bikinis were still out. So that tells you a little something, something.
Lisa's trying to help you.
Yeah.
Do you need to pull up Google Translate?
No.
I don't think they have one for Starla yet.
No, not yet.
Well, it's 1:15, guys.
All right.
We're here.
Yes, I think we have arrived. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. For those who joined us midstream, Mr. Moore is sick. He is upstairs. He will be back next week as long as he is not still sick. So everybody, thank Nate for hanging out today in the comments. Recapping. He'll be back. Recapping the news that we gave you at the beginning. HAA, Handmade Alpha Academy, will be opening sometime in June, and it will be open for 10 days to the public. I'll have more information about that as we get a little bit closer to time. If you guys want to get some freebies from Renee Christine, make sure to go to alphasugar.com and sign up. That way you can get all of the goodies that she is offering exclusively to the alphas. There is not going to be a stream on April 5th because me and Nate and Mr. Moore and somebody else very special that we can't mention right now have a trip. We're going to be going on a little trip, and we will have some more information about that after the trip. Guys, if you want to send something to our P.O. box for our next unboxing, we have not received enough product since our last unboxing for Christmas to justify doing an unboxing video, which Nate is so eager to edit for us.
I'm so excited. Yes, there will be a replay. There will always be a replay.
Except for live webinars. That's the only time we can't promise because sometimes tech goes wrong. But
tech is weird, but this, yes.
Yes. So P.O. box link or P.O. box address is down below. Make sure that you follow the guidelines if you want to send us something for the unboxing. And lastly, guys, follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to get that 10K.
Okay, so I have a challenge for everybody in this area right now. Okay. By the end of summer, we want to get Starla's Instagram account to over 10,000 followers. I know we can do it. I know that because I've seen it in the chat here. Everyone is super passionate about what Starla is doing, and we want to continue to help her grow and build. The next step is getting her to 10,000 people on Instagram.
I've had 6 just since we started streaming. I'm going to follow y'all back. Oh, and one last thing, guys. Make sure that you go sneakily over to Renee Christine's Facebook profile and wish her a happy birthday from the Alphas because her birthday is tomorrow. Shh, but don't tell her I told you to do that. Just say happy birthday from the Alphas. Shh.
Alexis, you're awesome. Thank you. Everybody should have multiple Instagrams and follow Starla.
Yes, go follow me on all of your accounts.
Get your mom to follow her.
Yeah, tell your mom.
Seriously.
She'll love me. She'll love my crazy hair and tattoos. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Goodbye. Peace.